back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed your little break there. We're back at it now. Lobbies are ready. Players are ready to go. The slaytage now in commencement. I'm here with Cruisin right now, but let's talk about this map, Cruisin, because Tuscan HP such a refined map in my opinion. You know, when it comes to rotations on these maps, I gotta tell you, man, or ask you really. When it comes to like these teams and their rotations, I often see a lot of disconnects between that P3 to P4. What's really the awareness from these guys, you know?
Well, I mean, when you're really looking at P3 and P4 in particular, when you're talking about the Fountain Hill and your Churchill, you're really looking at both teams needing to find a way to lock down a good amount of time and kind of winning the rotation over. Because the big thing is with these hills is if you win Fountain, it's all great. But if you kind of win that map, win that rotational battle over to that, you're kind of out of spawns for the Churchill. So I think really what you're looking for out of these two teams is who's going to be the better team bouncing off of each other. Like if you don't hold on to a hill, I don't want to see teams hitting hills with 15, 20 seconds left. Really just need to make sure rotations are on point when you're looking at this map. But here we are hopping into it now. South Dakota, they're going to be in your red, Wisconsin in the white on the right-hand side, starting off with those good spawns closer to the column side of the map. But you can already see right off the rip a battle for P1. It's going to be one out by Wisconsin right off the start here, but South Dakota, they do hold on to those right-hand spots.
Yeah, you do see a nice little 3-for-1 there. Wisconsin do get a good hole for now, but Rem, oh, it's no problem for him. Breaks in, gets a nice two-piece immediately. South Dakota now back in charge of the hill. Look at this setup here. It's a three-man with a besiegement coming in, but Drewski, Pierce, they immediately respond back in kind, and now South Dakota, they do hold the rest of this hill. If I'm on the side of Wisconsin, it's rotation time right now. But unfortunately, Drewski's just going to be holding them off, slaying into the spawns.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, though, that they kind of, if you're South Dakota there, everything was looking so good. You had the spawns, you had the hill time, but you do end up with 30 seconds on the end of P1. Only issue is you lose these spawns here for P2, like you were alluding to. 10 seconds have kind of gone by here, though. Wisconsin finally will hop into this hill, but you can see on the map a big pinch starting to develop from the South Dakota players, all trying to get in and around this hill, but they're single file pushing right now, and Key's going to pop too and really be able to shut down this initial push.
Yeah, and you want to look at Key right here. Key's positioning is going to be key for when the aggression pushes through, but it looks as though that they're going to be coming in at the right time. And right now, Matrix, he's holding mid. Nobody's going to be pushing his lane here anytime soon. And Key now, you know, a bit scarred from the fight, gets onto the hill and immediately sees that aggression that he was trying to hold that he failed to hold back.
Big thing for Key too. He finds that 5 in a row, so he gets that initial glide bomb as well. It's going to be huge if they need to find a break later on in this map. He's going to be able to put that one in his back pocket for now, and the rotation actually won here from Wisconsin as well. They get the instant rotation from columns over to this Fountain Hill, and this is a big string of hills that you can really put together. They came into the last hill at only having, 10 seconds in the game. They come back with 40 seconds to that last hill and get initial time here at the new hill, and this should be a good setup. Two players will spawn out, though, with player 3 on Rem, pushing down towards that bottom side. So South Dakota actually setting up for a pinch here.
Yeah, this is a great pinch right now, but unfortunately, though, you're going to see off screen there, Puck does get that kill. So Rem, though, oh, nice work. Breaks that position in the back. Such an unchallengeable hill, but looks as though Matrix and Co, they'll be pushed out to the front, and Rem, as best as, you know, as he can, just immediately goes to work, but Sherm, who immediately pulls out a reverse card and gets that big kill. And it's just a big fight here, a little bit of a ballroom blitz, if you will. And it's a scrap time, looking to really go into the side of Wisconsin.
Yeah, but you're going to get one more hit at this if you're South Dakota. They don't want to give up completely. I thought you were, but all the arrows actually just going to turn around. Nobody really going to challenge. You might get one final little chow in here, but it's not going to lead to any time, so I don't even understand the chow at that point of the map. But if we're looking at this rotation, you're going and you're looking at Wisconsin again. First team on rotation over towards P4, and we were talking about it before we came into this one. The rotations from 3 to 4, they need to be on point. Wisconsin, once again, showing us how on point the rotations can be here as they take the lead for the first time here in this map.
Yeah, it got a bit messy there, I'm not going to lie. But, hey, you know, Wisconsin currently in charge of the hill. Cryptic looks around for a player. Not going to find one because he's hiding behind the pews. That's a nice two-piece there. Rem, oh, great works for the spawns. Needs to secure the spawns for the team. Looking around for another player inside the hill. Chows the hill. Gets a big one, but there's a player on top. And there you go. They're able to break it for now. But alluding to them, that they still do not have the spawns.
They don't, but South Dakota's not in a terrible spot here. With only 13 seconds left, you don't really need the spawns at this point of the hill. You can kind of just soak up to these last little bit. You need to win these rotations, though. And what is this, 4 hills in a row now where Wisconsin's going to be the first team pushed through and set up? You got to think at some point Wisconsin's going to be able to hold on to one of these hills, not get broken in by South Dakota. And then at that point, that's when this score line is really going to start to get out of favor. But for now, at least, if you're South Dakota, if you start winning some of these rotations and are able to hold the way you've been able to hold once you break, that's when they might be able to come in and start to take this lead here. But a lot closer than I think we were expecting it to be here in this hard point throughout the first 4 hills.
Oh, yeah, and I definitely love the fact that South Dakota, even though they aren't, getting the rotations on point, you do see right there, a nice little 4-for-1 trade, but I do like this out of them, that they do chow these hills together. It's great teamwork, but what would be even more exemplary teamwork is getting that rotation that you set. And you see right here on the side immediately, Matrix and Co., while they do have some nice shots on the outside, South Dakota do remain alive in the inside. So really, it's just about that rotation.
Yeah, I think something we need to see from Drewski here in the second set of rotations is if they can start to win these kind of rotational battles, if you will, I think that's when we're going to really start to see Drewski pop off. Because we were talking about this before the game, and Drewski has come out very slow to his standards at 16 and 13 here in this map. I mean, he's starting to pick it up a little bit more as this was going on, but I mean, he came off and he was very even to start this game off. So not nearly the big KD that we normally see coming out of Drewski and the 40 bomb that we normally see coming out of him here on this map, but he's still got time to pick it up. But that's a whole lot of red in the kill feed. This is the first time we really see a good prevalence setup here for the South Dakota Coyotes.
And that's going to be coming from Cryptic and Co. That's nice movement. They do have the sight. So this is a bit of a change in our second set of rotations. Nice beginning points from the side of South Dakota, but Cryptic now being forced to the corner. Pressure at its highest. Notices that the player's pushing onto him, and unfortunately that's Super Sherm. But he gets away with his life for now. Pistol in hand, not going to happen. That's going to be Rem. And like you said, Drewski looking pretty good now, though. 21 and 14 at the second set.
Yeah, this is the Drewski that we expect to see. And who would have thought? You rotate early, you get your players set up in powerful positions. KDs are going to start to pop off a little bit higher here. And it's exactly what you're seeing from this South Dakota team. But the issue comes in once again. Wisconsin will be the first team on rotation heading over towards this Columns Hill. And we saw the last time we came here, it was a big 40-point lead for the University of South Dakota. But Wisconsin answered back with a full 60 and actually took the lead heading into the Fountain Hill the last time we came to this one.
Yeah, and right now, immediately you see it's a 3-for-1 trade, and Cryptic being the last man alive here does not get it done. And now we get towards the middle of the hills. We're going to be moving in towards mid of church. That's Drewski in the back right now. He's going to be creating a problem here. Just look around, sees the setup, immediately takes it down, but Matrix, so close.
I would have loved to see Drewski pick that up. But you know what? I like this challenge, though, from South Dakota. At the very least, you stop them from getting a good prevalent amount of time here if you're Wisconsin. Now the foot race is on, though, towards our Fountain Hill. And you can see, once again, it is going to be Wisconsin. They should be the first team set up early here. But Cryptic, he might just be able to make a play in the back. Unfortunately, cannot. So 3 players will be set up in and around this hill for Wisconsin. And really, if you're Coyotes, you need to just kind of wait up here, wait for everybody to come off spawn and make a good team hit here together.
You got to give a shout out to Puck, though, on the side of Wisconsin. He's been doing a lot of the route work for his side, and it's been paying off very nicely. Unfortunately, though, you see right here the break coming in from the mid. Key, though, nice 2-piece, but unfortunately, Drewski's going to end that one. Fight towards the back. Matrix, Puck. That work from the route man. You're expecting a nice check in the bank for you there. But you do see right here, 30 seconds left. They are going to be able to challenge the hill in just a second, but nades galore and prayers from heaven coming down.
Drewski again. He'll take that early challenge. He finds one with a nade. Unfortunately, ends up falling, but he was first player in, and they were able to get a few kills there. And this scrap time is really, really important, because if you get the scrap time as Dakota here, you're basically right back into this. It's a tie game heading over towards our new hill. The only issue is once again, you lose the rotations to Wisconsin. I feel like a broken record right now, because it feels like every single hill that we're going to, Cesano, it's been Wisconsin early and set up. They just can't hold on to a hill for their lives right now, because South Dakota, their slaying power and their breaking power has just been so on point through this game.
Exactly, and as you say that, they do get to hold for the initial right now. That's 4 down. That'll push these players towards the right of the graveyard, but you know right there, Sherm, fortunately, just does not predict the spawns right, and now getting pressured, and this is Puck's game off screen, gets a nice 3-piece. Sherm, though, he does get bailed out, so that's going to be a great help from his teammate Puck, and I think they heard you, Cruz. They realized what they needed to fix.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to see a hold finally come in after they've been the first team on rotation for 8 out of the 10 hills that we've seen so far throughout this game. Wisconsin, I feel like, honestly, with the way they've been rotated, they should be winning this game by a lot more than they are. But the breaks from South Dakota, they are there. They are prevalent. And actually, South Dakota, they're going to make a heads-up call here. They decide, hey, you know what? We need to make sure we lock down this rotation towards command center because we just need to come back and we need to answer back with some points here. Because when you look at this game right now, Wisconsin's going to be only 15 seconds away from putting this game out at the end of this hill. We head to Hill 5. South Dakota, they're still within a shot here, but you need to answer with a big hold at command center.
Yeah, and Cryptic's movement right there to be able to get the site first. That's great, and he does get the big kill onto Puck, but Matrix and Co. What did I tell you? That pop-off factor, that's Matrix. 33 and 17 opens the site up with 2 pieces there, and Drewski now making a move, gets the Sherm, and there you go. You see Matrix and Puck working together. Very nice tandem work, but you do see right there, once again, it's going to be none other than Wisconsin COD. The relapse from the side of South Dakota was just not enough.
And I think the big question for us here coming into this one was we knew Drewski was going to play well and we knew he was going to pop off. I mean, this team placed top 48 last year at champs with him here for the CCL champs. So very good team in themselves. Drewski is a very prevalent player. We all know how good he is at this game. I mean, look at his damage, 4,200 damage, topped the lobby with 32 and 26 in terms of kills. But the issue with this University of South Dakota team right now, when I look at everything, is I'm just looking at this team and I'm trying to figure out who is going to step up on this team and help Drewski out, because that's really what we need an answer to. Everybody else on his team, I don't think maybe Cryptic and Rem together combined for the same amount of kills that Drewski has, but Pierce with only 10 kills, I mean, it's just not good enough to help this team out when your non-traded kills are also not just there for this team. Everybody on the side of Wisconsin was getting the job done. But honestly, when I'm looking overall at that whole game there, Cesano, and I'm kind of just trying to take away what I could from that, if South Dakota rotates a little bit early in some of those hills, their numbers are probably so much better because it's so much easier to hold onto a hill than it is to break. And that game was like a 180 to 180 game at one point there. But unfortunately, they just could not win a rotation to save their lives.
Yeah, it really didn't feel like the slaying was doing too much of a big difference in the beginning, though. Once we got towards the end and we saw Matrix and doing great work on the rotation kills, big impact plays. He is 35 and 17 with 25 non-traded kills. That was beautiful. But then once we got towards the end and we were in that church, it was all Puck and Key there. Their work in holding the hill. You said it, Cruz. You said it yourself. You know, hey, it's great that you're getting the rotation, but hold the hill for Pete's sake, you know? And Puck and Key immediately responded to the call, saw what they needed to do. The opportunity was present, and they took it. And that's really what decided that ending there.
Yep, Key, the player from last season, stepping up once again, putting the kind of helping out with the rest of his team here. But that 3-piece that he got at church is really what locked that one down for me. It was off screen, unfortunately, but we got to see it pop up in the kill feed. It was when all 3 players pushed through the top side of Monument. They tried pushing in through that top side of the church, and he just shut it down completely by himself. And that's really what ended up locking them down that game, because that was a full 60, which then led to them only being 50 seconds away from closing it out. But honestly, when you look at that whole game overall, if South Dakota rotates maybe 1 or 2 times, they're rating that game. They could really easily have probably closed that out. And that's going to be something that they need to look at for the rest of the series. Is we're right there with this team very clearly in terms of skill. I think it just comes down to fundamentals need to be that little bit much better, and that's when you might see this South Dakota team really start to pop off. But like we said before, they're definitely not out of it. We had to search and destroy next, and this is the mode that me and you really want to see this team come out on top in. It's the mode where we've seen probably Wisconsin bleed the most here inside of CCL, sitting out with only a 6-2 record. I say only a 6-2 record like that's bad, but unfortunately that is their worst mode record at 6-2. So if there's anywhere that I think that we can see South Dakota come out and really take a good map off these guys, it's going to be this map right here.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that South Dakota are out of this fight at all. That was just, it was a bit of a close call. Like you said earlier, with the rotations just not being in their cards. Wisconsin, they're a little bit better, I say, in terms of mid-game adjustments. But South Dakota, this is their time to shine. This is the mode to get something going here. But if I'm looking at positioning wise only, without talking about slaying, I think Wisconsin still has a lot to say in their cards.
Well, luckily we go to Bacage, though. So S&D on Bacage, it's going to be insane, right? So this is one of your faster-paced maps. and mode combos, especially for Search and Destroy. Probably one of the faster paced Search and Destroy maps. Maybe not so much at the start of the game, but I feel like it's really starting to pick up now. The teams are starting to learn how to play it a little bit more. You're seeing a lot more hits through middle of the map, a lot more kind of team diverse hits towards one side of the map where you're just really trying to slay out and push out one side, especially without smokes being able to kind of block out the river side of the map. But we can load it up now, heading into Bocage. And I mean, this one's going to be interesting. I feel like if University of South Dakota aren't able to take this one, we're probably going to end up seeing a 3-0 with that control record and just how good Wisconsin is. Unfortunately, I don't want to count anybody out of a series at any point in time, but I feel like this is a must-win map when you look at this one, Susano.
Oh, most definitely the crucialness of this one. And I like what you mentioned that now that at this stage in the game, teams are much more aware in terms of a middle game strategy or game strategy overall because of how small and tight and close quarters this map really is. You know, you check one or two corners and in a position of influence, you know what exactly the strategy is. And that's exactly what we're going to see right now as we see Drewski looking towards the top Grandma's position. Nobody's going to peek out just yet, so that gives the Cryptic a false sense of hope. And there you go. That's a nice little 2-for-1.
Kind of surprised to see Drewski pulling out the automaton on this map here. I'm very used to seeing him running an SMG, so and what that kind of tells me is that he's trying to play a little bit slower of a map here, but unfortunately he falls, so it's going to leave Pierce all by himself here in a 1 versus 3. Not a great spot. Needs to try to put this bomb down as well, but looks like he wants to try to play for a pick first before he decides to go anywhere with this bomb. But actually, no, he's going to make the complete wrap offsite. I don't think anybody heard him either. This could end up working out really, really well if he gets his bomb down.
Yeah, but you do see right there, unfortunately, though, Puck is going to be on the hunt here. Does see the player and takes him out. And I want to comment on that. The reason I think he's pulling out the automaton, I think he realizes his team's strengths and weaknesses here. I think he's trying to adapt to his team, more or less letting 3 players adapt to him.
Yeah, very well could be the case. He could be just trying to sit back, play a little bit slower of a role so he can bounce off his teams. Doesn't want to be the first man in. It's definitely possible. Maybe it was just a set strat for map number 1, for round number 1. We'll have to see as this game continues to develop and see what he continues to pull out as these rounds go along. But nonetheless, Wisconsin will be back or onto their first offense here. They take that round number 1, very dominant fashion, and it looks like a very similar hit to what we actually just saw out of South Dakota, heading over towards this A site. But you do have Drewski set up in that top window, so he can definitely watch this cross and try to shut these players down on it.
Yeah, and you see right now, Key and Puck, this duo tandem, already waiting for an overextension of any kind. Oh, no!
Oh, no!
Key, let go of the grenade!
I think the plan was to throw it through the window, and then as soon as he saw the window close, he was like, oh no, I can't just throw it off the back of that window or it's going to bounce back on me, but unfortunately holds it too long. He ends up falling. We'll get a one-on-one off-screen. Pierce will take another number from Wisconsin, so it's going to leave them in a 2v4 with bomb down in a terrible spot.
You know, in those situations, man, you just yeet it, throw it, get it away from you. But immediately off screen right there, nice little pickup right there. But now it's a 2v1. And if there's one player I want in this scenario, it's going to be Matrix. But with 28 seconds and Bomb in a dire position and players from South Dakota figuring out this location, there's just no way that you can get this going here unless you just isolate the kill.
That's perfect. It's exactly what we need to see out of South Dakota as well. I think a big thing for this is going to be making less mistakes than Wisconsin, and we clearly saw a mistake from Wisconsin at the start of that round with Key. That nade, not what you want it to be. Hopefully we see that one get cleaned up a little bit as this game goes along, but you know what? It works out well for them. They get the job done where they need to. And Drewski was able to help close that round, or sorry, not Drewski, but the rest of South Dakota. Once they get that man advantage, they hold on to it, and that's what I'm talking about when I talk about making less mistakes. If you get that man advantage, you need to absolutely be closing these rounds out. They get the job done there. But South Dakota now back on offense. They headed over to A the last time through. It looks like a very similar setup and hit to the last time in round number 1, but you don't have as much prevalence here and as much pressure here from Wisconsin this time through. But it's a very quick rotation if they decide to get over towards the site.
Yeah, we do see a bit of an adjustment coming out of the side of Wisconsin right now. They start facing towards that A. They notice Matrix has gone down. It's going to be a signaling beacon for the side of Wisconsin. But Pierce waiting for a player to react upon the info of the door breaking, but it's not going to happen. Drewski picks up that player, Matrix, earlier. And right now, Key, nice play there. A little bit of some misdirection, some magic for you. Puck off screen here, now able to make some plays, and Sherm as well. And now you're in a 3v1, no players in sight to help you, and well, Sherm's going to take advantage of that. I love that. Just the molecular slicing of this situation.
Yeah, basically what that is they get the bomb down today, but They had no map control at all.
Uh-oh.
Wisconsin was basically in and around everywhere on that site. They were able to just shut that down completely, not allow anything on South Dakota to really get out of that site. And that's really what ends up losing you out that round. You basically just take individual challenge after individual challenge while trying to push out of the site. It just does not work out in your favor. That's another easy round win for Wisconsin on defense. So far, defense standing very strong here through our first 3 rounds. See if South Dakota can continue on the trend, get us tied back up at a 2-2 after this round.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see because right now we do see a bit of a movement towards mid from Key. He's going to be aggressively pushing towards that B site, trying to get on the barrel there. Unfortunately,
like,
does
what is he
not
doing?
work. Yeah, I don't know what that was, but hey, it's better than having a nade in hand.
That is true. Better than nading yourself at the start of the round. So Key will make a play through the flank, though. If he can find this player off in the back, this should completely open up this B site now. Will get caught out by one more player in Rem there. So not the best situation to be in. And now the bomb actually going to make the rotation over towards A. You're in a 2 versus 3 here. So if you can find a way to get this down, it's great. But you've got a player watching over it in Pierce. And now it's going to be a 1 versus 3 for Sherm. And this is just not a spot you want to be in.
With 3 players immediately locking down these positions of influence, Sherm really doesn't have anywhere else he can advance onto. He does see one player, though. Unfortunately, COD timing not in his favor. That's going to be Pierce. So now Sherm makes some noise. 27 seconds left. He's going to have to isolate this kill right here if he wants to maybe chain them together, but not going to really react upon the info just yet. 5-1 with a 3 streak. And Drewski, unfortunately, once again, COD timing not being in his favor. Looks as though he does pick up the bomb. He can only really plant here at A. There's not really any other option. So Ram and Drewski have got him besieged, and they work the pinch.
Yeah, you basically have one play there. You're right. You either have to put that bomb down or run for your life and try to find both kills. He does get one, but it's just a perfect pinch from the South Dakota players to be able to close that round out. Rem finds the final one. I honestly thought he had a chance to do that though, with Sherm there. He looked like he was ready to really find those last couple of kills. He was able to shoot one player in the side. And honestly, the way he was isolating those 1v1s, I really thought he had a chance, but he just kind of played it a little bit too slow. Once he got that first one and got away with his life, I think he needed to reach out that as quickly as possible to give himself a little bit more time, just not time on his side. And now the most aggressive hit we've seen from South Dakota so far, they'll send 3 players straight through into A much quicker hit though this time through, and not able to get the bomb down, and the bomb carrier drops the bomb as well.
And you see, he did throw the nade, but unfortunately though,
Oh my God, Puck
was covered.
So Puck makes the full wrap, but finds no information from it here on the flank. Bomb should go down here, but he should be in a perfect situation once his bomb goes down to find one.
Fortunately, though, Rem does get the nice slide cancel. Gets the kill. Shem, though, going to be playing towards the top of Grandma's, but Matrix, nice kill off screen. That's going to help lower the threat back to a 2v2. Much more manageable. With 30 seconds left on this bomb, you only have 21 seconds to operate. And, well, Matrix does get some pot shots and knows that Rem is there, but unfortunately, though, Rem's going to be able to slip away, but Sherm does pick up one, and Sherm picks up the second. Very nicely done. Shout out to Sherm there. That is exactly what we needed to see out of him that last round.
Wow, I thought we were about to see the first offensive win come through right there for South Dakota, but not going to be the case. They get that bomb down, they get into a 2v2 situation, and I actually thought they were in a great spot to be able to close that round out, but Sherm answers back with a huge 2-piece with the automaton inside of Grandma's and just completely foliates anything that you got from South Dakota in that round there. And I mean, honestly, if Puck is able to make that play a little bit earlier on in the round there for Wisconsin as well, that round probably ends a lot sooner. But South Dakota, they gave themselves a lifeline. Unfortunately, not able to close the round out yet again here on offense. And at some point, I mean, at what point do you just decide, hey, let's maybe hit towards the B side because A is clearly not working on offense?
I think when you've exhausted all options, but right now, I think teams just only know one playbook, and that's A, unfortunately. So I think it's going to be a bit of a hard one to try and, switch up what you know.
Really does feel like that sometimes, especially watching collegiate COD. These teams, they love that A site. It just is not always the best site to be able to make. But Key making this play through the back, doesn't check the deep corner, will get dropped pushing into the site. So it's going to leave us in a 3v3. Man advantage gone, but Puck should get this bomb down here for Wisconsin. So it's going to have to be a 3v3 retake here for South Dakota.
Nice play from Rem there to just immediately look at that zig, but Nobody's going to be able to help him out. And you do see some kills going around the corner there, but nice little pick. But Rem is still here in this mid. Not able to find one, but he does. That's Puck. Sherm being the last man here, knows that Rem's in mid. Goes for the chow, but there's only 20 seconds left. You just need to get this diffuser. Rem could immediately go for the diffuse. So right now, Sherm, the bait works, and they get the diffuse.
It's a perfect play. You just hop the bomb, watch and hope that your teammate is able to back you up there. It's exactly what happens with South Dakota. Tie us back up at 3-3 here, able to keep the game rolling. And I mean, when you're looking overall at that round, very, very close round for Wisconsin to be able to close out as well. But now, Cesano, I'm going to just say it, dude. We've seen 6 straight rounds. We've seen 6 straight A hits. Please, for the love of God, teams, let's hit a different bomb site here. It has been 6 straight defenses won. We need to see something different come out. I'd love to just see maybe even a 4-man hit through middle of the map. But no, we're going back to the A site right off the rip. Maybe they might debate me and go through the tunnel or something and head towards B. But very, very highly doubt it with how this game has gone along and this game trend has continued. But, I mean, a little bit slower of a hit from South Dakota this time through. Sherm is completely aware, though, that they only like to hit the A site as he's still just sitting in the back on tanks watching over this site.
It's just like what I told you, Cruz. It's just literally they only know one playbook, you know? And I guess, you know, I feel like Jackie, I believe it was I believe it was Bruce Lee that said, I do not fear the man who knows all these martial art forms. I fear the man who practices one kick 1,000 times. And clearly that one kick working.
Finally, 4th time is the charm. Yeah. As South Dakota hits the A site, they get the job done. Finally, close the round out here for the Coyotes as they finally take a round here inside of the search and destroy on offense. And this could end up giving them the advantage here, as we have not really seen a much better offense come out of the side of Wisconsin throughout this entire game so far. So South Dakota, they get the man up now here in this game. If they can find another defense here, gives them a very good chance to close this out, but you got to get another defense, and that's the hard part. Wisconsin looks like we're going to see a little bit different of a hit. We'll have 2 players hit through mid immediately here and completely take the map control away from the defense, and Key able to find the first blood as well.
And a bit of a difference here. Key, oh my gosh, that was a nice play to jump up there, take advantage of the aerial battle, make it a vertical battle instead of a horizontal. And immediately goes for the 3rd. He's looking for his 4th. And he does almost find it in Cryptic.
Yeah, Key's feeling himself a little bit there. Goes for the final. Can't find the last kill in the round there for himself. But South Dakota, like you said, Cryptic on 5. He's by himself. Not going to invest the glide bomb here in this round. At least I wouldn't in a 1 versus 3. Not the best situation. Only 30 seconds left on the lock or on the round to close this out, to be able to find that defuse. And with the longer and longer he's taken to try to isolate a 1v1 here, the more and more it's looking like he's not going to be able to find it. And honestly, at this point, with how he's playing, I think he's just playing for streaks right now.
Yeah, there really is no point to just throw your life out when you have a 5 streak and a glide already confirmed. But, you know, talking about that quote real quick, because I had to make sure I quoted it right for the man himself, Bruce Lee. It's, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced 1 kick 10,000 times. And clearly that being the A strategy.
Yeah, that very much so. It seems to be the trend of this game so far. I agree with that quote from Bruce Lee for sure. It's a tough situation now to be in, because like you do keep that streak. You would have loved to have seen him maybe try to get that there, but Cryptic on 5, if he can find a 6, it will give you that strafing run as well. And this is, I think, the round where you might see a team hit towards B simply because they have that streak. If you get this bomb down at B, he's going to call the streak immediately. He wants to clear out the B site right away, knows a player's in tower, and actually finds one in the back of A as well. They isolate the player tower. They get this bomb down. I love this play here from South Dakota.
Yeah, and that was a nice play indeed from Cryptic, but just immediately picking one up too. And now it's a 2v4, and that's what really secures you this round, that use of streak and awareness. But right now, Puck in the bottom of Grandma's. It's going to need to maybe make a play here just to get these guys moving, because with a 2v4, Key's on his own, and these kills are isolated. So you do see right here, he does find one. Unfortunately not, because Rem's ready to go.
Oh, and Key finds Cryptic in the back, and because Cryptic found that kill with the glide bomb, I don't think he gets the strafing run as well. So Key trying to get the job done here for his team. He only has 7 seconds left, so not going to be able to get the defuse, but he's just going to try to play for a few kills here in this round, and it doesn't look like anything is going to come easy. Drewski will find that final kill. South Dakota go on to match point here inside of the search and destroy, trying to take their first game, trying to tie us up at 1-1. And we said that this is where they need to get the job done, so they've got 2 chances to do it here now, Susano, and this is absolutely make or break now for the South Dakota Coyotes roster.
It's make or break time indeed. And with being round 9 here, excuse me, 5-4, I think that was just great out of the Coyotes, the way that they were able to use that streak and just close that skill gap. Because right now, Wisconsin, they were looking mighty fine and composed here, but immediately you're going to see some fights going down off screen and immediately into the bottom of Granny's, and Key unfortunately does not get away with his life. And now the minute 10 here, Matrix, nice kill, pop-off factor coming in to try and save them this game. It's a 2v2 playing in close proximity. That's going to be Wisconsin.
No streaks to work with, but Matrix, oh, I thought he might have spotted one,
so
but no,
too.
he doesn't get the player in the back, but they isolate the gunfight in mid-street, so it's going to leave us in a 2 versus 1 now. And Matrix, he knows. Oh, no, he doesn't know. Cryptic gets some shots in the back, gives away his positioning, and that's just going to open it up for Sherm to make the rotation over to B to get this bomb down. And oh my God, the COD timing is just so terrible for Cryptic right now.
I don't even know what to really say at this point. It's just been timing's not working for either side. And
he knows they went down at B, right?
Hey, we'll see what happens here at B. This is experimental gameplay for everyone in the CCL right now. Because this is not looking good for the side of Cryptic. He can isolate these kills, but Sherm, though, does see the leg. He does get a bit of damage, so Matrix going to have to really capitalize here. But you do see there, and oh no, there you go. Wisconsin COD bringing it to the round 11.
So choosing to make the full wrap as Cryptic there instead of just trying to take a challenge earlier on in that round. And I mean, if you're up top in that situation, yeah, absolutely could have maybe found one in the back there and then taken a better chow than that. But unfortunately, he decides to make the full wrap through the A side underneath tunnel to wrap over to B. And that's going to leave us in a round 11 here. And it's going to be South Dakota on offense. And in a game that we saw 0 offensive rounds won through the first 6, it's been all offense here in the last 4 rounds to lead us into this round 11 here. So realistically, this is anybody's game right now. First Bloods haven't seemed to have been too much of a factor here in this game either. So we'll see what they can do. It's going to be, again, another A hit here. Rem will be the first player, and Key will find 1. Key will find 2, and that will just put the dagger into South Dakota. Bob down in a bad spot. You've still got 4 players alive for Wisconsin. They can absolutely put this away and go up 2-0 here in this game.
It's a 2v4, and the players are isolated on the side of South Dakota. Cryptic hanging out towards top of hay here on the barn. Does know that Key is still hiding in his home, in his den, if you will. The hungry wolf coming out here, or the hungry, I would say, what's their mascot? Is it it's a weevil?
It looks like a badger.
I don't know. I wouldn't say maybe a badger. I think the badgers, it's just a hungry badger, just carnivoristic out here, just getting those kills.
South Dakota's got 20 seconds left to try to make something work here on this bomb. It's going to be Cryptic first man in, and Key finds another, going for the ace now here with 1 player left. It's just Drewski. I feel like this is the one guy you'd want left alive, but he is just not in a great spot. And in round 11, Key finds all 4 for Wisconsin to shut down the Coyotes and take a 2-0 series lead.
This was their shining light, Cruz, for the side of South Dakota. And unfortunately, at the last minute, it is snuffed out. They went the distance, literally, to the round 11. That is the most that you could take it. I applaud the streak usage out of Cryptic there, but I would have saved that for that round 11.
Honestly, I respectfully disagree. I think the play was the right call. I think it was just execution of those last 2 rounds was just not at the highest level there for the Coyotes. I mean, you kind of threw away around 10, and then round 11, you just let, once again, Key run rampant on you through the likes of Grandma's. We've seen him do it on an offense for them where he found 3 in Grandma's. That time it was defense. He sits in the deep corner, finds 1, And you need to get that trade immediately. You don't find the trade. He gets out, and he finds a second kill as well as getting out with his life. And once you're in a 4 versus 2 there, it felt kind of like when the Coyotes got into a bad position where they were in a 2v4 or didn't have bomb in hand. They just kind of felt like they were in a situation where they just could not get out with their lives. And as soon as that happened, it was just curtains at that point for the South Dakota Coyotes.
Did he ever get the strafing run? Well, I would think so, right? He hit his 6th streak. But
no. So the 6th streak came in from the glide bomb hitting the player. So I don't think you get the streak from that, unfortunately, for South Dakota. It would have been nice because the strafing run would have opened up a lot towards that site, but he fell later on in that round. And unfortunately, they just weren't able to get it done there. But Wisconsin up 2-0 now, going to their best mode in control at 4-0 next. So it'll be a really, really good test to see if South Dakota can make their way back in the series. It's been 2 really close maps, though. Like, they've definitely been winnable for the Coyotes, so you don't want to count them out yet. But if you're Wisconsin here, you're really licking your lips going into control next.
It's just been, Wisconsin, like we talked about. They are a dominant team, but with South Dakota being opportunistic as ever, I'm looking good, right? I'm looking good coming into this control, but with like what you said, with how close these matches have been, I'm still gonna make sure I account to not underestimate these guys, because if not, then we could possibly see a reverse on our hands. But who's to say? You can decide in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna hit a short break and get back to you in just a bit. We'll set up this match in the meantime, but you let us know what you think. Hope you enjoyed that short break. We're back at it. It's map 3 coming up, Tuscan Control. South Dakota Coyotes going up against Wisconsin COD. It's going to be a great one. Cruz, give me your predictions, my man. What do you think is going to be going down here tonight in this third?
I absolutely hate doing predictions. Cesano, how dare you throw that on me?
I'm sorry. You know me.
I mean, it's hard. It's really, really hard because I want to say South Dakota to come out and take this because it's been a really close series so far. I don't see it happening. Wisconsin's 4-0 in control, and South Dakota, both of their 2 losses in control have been on the exact same map mode combo that we're going to right now on Tuscan Control. So it's a good chance for them to be able to bounce back in a map that they haven't been the strongest in so far. But whether or not they're really able to get that done, it's going to be the question. We can take one more look at our maps and modes before heading into this one. You can see it was a 250 to 184. And honestly, that was a super close map 1. It was basically 180 to 180. It was super tight all the way through until the last 2 hills where South Dakota was really able to take over. Before Wisconsin was really able to take over. And in that final map there, the 6-5 on S&D on that Bocage, we saw it. It was really, really looking good for South Dakota. And they just threw it away. They were up 5-3. Unfortunately, weren't able to close it out. And we're already into gameplay here. South Dakota off to a very good start here in the control so far, as they've already capped the A site. And they've got a 2-life lead and now look to try to head over towards B.
Yeah, and that's just really good out of them to be able to immediately capture that with 27 and 25 or 24 now lives remaining in the overall. This is great. 2 minutes and a abundant amount of lives. South Dakota in a great position, and you immediately see the fight coming in towards the spawn. Fortunately, though, Drewski is going to be a bit cornered here, but unfortunately for him, though, some assistance comes in. The cavalry has arrived, ringing in from the hills, and he does have a streak already. He's got his glide bomb.
I was supposed to say cavalry in form of 2 different things. Not only do you get the kills and the players in the back, but you also find that streak, and now they find the spawns as well as you start to spawn Wisconsin out towards that top right-hand side, exactly where you want them. But no, Drewski falls in the back, and this might just be the setup crumbling now for South Dakota. They all fall in the back. They are able to get onto the B site from the front, but with such close spawns now being available for Wisconsin, it's just a matter of time before they're able to start to reinforce this hill once again.
And you do see a big fight there towards the top, and that was great out of him to be able to immediately plunder that strategy towards the back. Now making a more silent approach. They do see that there's a 3 down, so they will be able to get onto the hill just for a second. If Key can just absolutely be the Reaper, gets 1, looks for the 2nd, immediately knows where the 3rd is, and there you go. You do get taken down, but Drewski's weak enough that any player could just come in and clean that one up off the site. And Cryptic being last man left, he's going to be immediately besieged. Does take 1 out, though, on his way out.
They do get 2 ticks of progress. You've got a minute 15 left and a 7 life lead for South Dakota here. So realistically right now, you just need to wait, group up, and play together. Don't individually hit this, as we've seen them do now 2 lives in a row. Make that 3 in a row now, where they're just individually challenging through the middle of the map, and now you've given up all your map control. You've basically given up your life lead to Wisconsin now, and you can't find that kill on a puck either. Very unfortunate situations. But now if you're South Dakota, just group up, try to make one big hit at this together. All you really need to do is play TDM at that point to close it out, but now you don't even have that big life lead to be able to rely on, as we're now dead even, 8-8 in lives, and only 40 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, 8-8. It was just such an abundant lead that I really thought South Dakota were going to take it right off the bat, but great movement out of Rem to be able to get the kill towards us as well. But Destructibles being the name of the game, not unfortunately for our key there, but, or actually that was Puck, but Puck now responding back up towards the mid, watching the lane coverage. Does notice that there's a bit of a lack in the middle, so he knows that immediately he's going to need to push towards here. Gets one, looks for the second, but not going to happen. Teammates in hand, and the fight towards mid. Drewski loses that one. South Dakota now low in life count with only 1 tick remaining at 3 seconds. It's just not coming in for them.
No, it's not, and they're not able to close it out. And I feel like this might just be the story of the series so far. Early lead for South Dakota, everything looking so good and so in their favor. And then Wisconsin just pulls the rug out from underneath them, able to close the games out for themselves. And that's a round where if you're South Dakota and you're looking at offense, you absolutely need to be closing that round out. With a 6 life lead on offense, you had all the map control in the world, but yet individually challenge 4 gunfights in a row, get pinned in your spawn, and just put yourself in a terrible spot there. Wisconsin closes the round out quite easily. I didn't get a final chance to look at numbers there, but I mean, if you're South Dakota, you're kicking yourself for that one.
You really are, and right here, Key makes a nice movement towards mid and wins that fight off the rip. Goes in for the second one, and he's undeniable right now as he gets a nice 3-piece. That's gonna slow down that left lane and push these players out towards mid.
Interested to see if he chooses to invest a glide bomb. No, he doesn't, so he will end up doubling up on that streak without investment, but does not really matter. Azite, it will be done. It will be dusted here for Wisconsin. Now they can focus on rotating over to B. Both sides do have a glide bomb, though, that you can try to use to get into this next site, and it looks like Puck is going to be that lead blocker trying to push in with Matrix. They want to hit through this church right now to try to just kind of shut down any little bit of defense you get from South Dakota on this back right-hand side of the map.
Yeah, but you do see right here, left side of the map absolutely being obliterated. What was the name of the game for the South Dakota Coyotes last round being a similar strategy for the Wisconsin COD players. And you do see right there, nice kills from Puck. Let's get a 2-piece. And it's just slaying out immediately. They realize that the absence of players in the left lane is going to push that spawn, so we're now down to a 10-man differential, 17-27, a minute 30, and Wisconsin COD are just making that lead ever so bigger.
I can't believe that spawn up I just saw from the South Dakota player. 3 just spawned up literally in the middle of columns, basically beside the zone. Not able to hop onto it right away, but they do get a little bit of numbers now. So good start here. Once again, for South Dakota in this round. They're not out of it yet. Yes, you're down by 10 lives, but this is the one site where if you're down by 10 lives, you're feeling okay because you still might be able to hold this one out. The issue is you've got so many streaks on the side of Wisconsin. Realistically, all they need to do right now is kind of hidden together, get everything set up, and then make one final big team push behind the streak here to be able to break into this one.
Yeah, you do see right there, nice big play right there to be able to get the full streaks from Puck. Drewski now making his way towards the back, still has the glide bomb to definitely break this positioning from the side of Wisconsin, but unfortunately for the side of South Dakota, they will still be in this blender of a spawn trap. But hey, there you go, Drewski making the work from himself, makes that player towards the back go away. 9-20. What is the benefit here, Cruz, because you've lost so many lives?
I mean, it's just tough. I mean, you might be able to win this out on time alone. You do still realistically have that chance with 20 seconds left. If you can keep Wisconsin off this for the next 20 seconds, even though you're down 9 lives, this is still a very winnable round here, but the streaks still get invested from Wisconsin. Puck finds one in the back. This should open it up for them to be able to hop onto the zone.
Yeah, but you do see, like you said, time being a very big independent variable. Puck, nice kill towards the mid. They're going to be able to get onto the site here pretty soon, but 10 seconds left. It may be lower in lives, but it's just getting really close in terms of the time.
Yeah, I don't think they can touch. Key, the closest player forward in
way.
Wisconsin, with the big life lead throughout the game, going to lose on offense here in round number 2. And that's going to tie us up at 1-1. So both teams looking like they should have won their offenses, not able to close them out. This just goes to show you once again just how strong defense is on a map like Tuscan. Good answer back, though, from South Dakota after a very rough start to that round down. What was it, like 13 lives at one point? Able to bring that one back. Yeah, you don't catch up in lives, but you catch up where it matters in the round count, and that's all you can really ask for. The only issue I got to see from that one is, though, now is you're down so much in life. So not only do you need to win at least one of these next 2 rounds to get to round number 5, you need to win these rounds by a good amount of lives as well if you want to be able to secure a defense for yourselves in that final round.
Yeah, with round 5 being determined by EKIA, I get that they're trying to, just max out kills as much as possible on these attacks, but there was definitely an opportunity for Wisconsin to capitalize on the site. But as I say that, you see right here immediately a big fight from Puck here. Does get one. Returns back. Guerrilla warfare at its finest. You get the big kill. Move back. But unfortunately, Pierce is going to be able to stop that attempt ASAP. 1:09 left and lives being very close right now. South Dakota will be able to get that first tick at the least for now.
They're trying to pinch their way back in to get back onto this site. You do have one player there on the site right now for Wisconsin, but you've got so many players in and around, and Puck makes a big flank in from behind as well to shut this down, but Drewski will pop for 3 before he finally falls. I thought that might be the X factor, but Key finds 3 of his own, reminiscent of the search and destroy, and just completely shuts down that push from South Dakota. And now you've got this team pinned in the back. This is a really, really rough spot for South Dakota to be in. 40 seconds left, 13 lives, already down to 10 once again in Wisconsin.
Yeah, and Key's currently on a 5 spree, or make that a 7. This is going to be absolutely insane just to try and come back from this. 11 to 22, it's an 11 life difference. Make that 12, make that 13. As I speak, it just keeps going higher, the differential. Not only are Wisconsin COD just in great positioning to be able to just absolutely just slam this side of South Dakota, they're immediately capitalizing on the opportunities. The kill feeds lining up white all around. No chance of any sort of crimson to be dropped in there.
Yeah, this is looking like a rough round here. They'll finally get onto the site. Key should clean this player up, though. Key is 34 and 15 right now. We talked about him being a player that we thought was going to lead the way coming into this one, him and Matrix. And when you look overall at the KDs right now, you can see exactly why this team is 4-0 in control. Really running up the score right now for themselves here in this match. And now on match point, they can take the entire series here and take South Dakota, pretty much take their chances of being in that top 3 and just throw it away all right here. You've got so many streaks to work with on the side of Wisconsin. You absolutely can put this one away here. And Cesano, you think they were mad about not winning that defense the round before?
Oh my goodness, dude. I don't even know how to express their emotions at this point, dude. There's just really no way of just putting it into words, because right now, Keys, that I found the perfect word to describe him. He's an opportunity slayer. He just finds the opportunities and makes it happen, cashes in the deals.
Really does. A little bit of an unorthodox hit coming in from Wisconsin off the start here. Everybody's going to run towards this B side, but it's just not going to find any success right off the start of this round. Maybe you get half a tick, but that's just not enough to find a full tick and really find a lot of success in terms of how many lives you just threw at that hill. You should end up seeing them start to hit over towards, I would imagine, very shortly here in this round. It's the closer site. It's a little bit easier to be able to hit in towards, and you do have Drewski over there still if you're South Dakota. Oh, Drewski goes huge.
That's just a beautiful 2-piece right there for Drewski to be able to stop the movement to A, but you do see B still being an open opportunity cost for the side of Wisconsin. Not going to happen, though, as Puck being the divider right here, just stopping these players from getting anywhere near B. Great plays, because you do see 2 players are able to even stack onto that B site. And Sherm's movement towards the mid was greatly paid off, but Drewski now finally throwing in a streak gets Sherm out.
Yeah, you invest the glide bomb there, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't know if you can get them off of this necessarily. You do find one, so it's going to isolate the one player inside the hill, and they will finally end up falling. So you still need one tick of progression. if you're Wisconsin on that site, you do finally get rid of Puck in the back as well, who was on 8 in a row and just absolutely tearing it up. But now if you're Wisconsin, you got 48 seconds left, basically even lives. You just need to hop onto A, finish this one off for now, and then worry about B after. And it looks like that's exactly what the play call is. Keep your eyes on Rem, though. He's going to try to shut this push down in Washington.
If he does get one, that's going to be a big one with the Sherm, but he does contest the site for now. 48 seconds overall. There was no hit regulation or reg at all there, but you do see B getting taken back. So although we were about to have a double point congestion, you know, but hey, you do get that minute back. So now minute 40 with B site. Only one tick, Cruz. One tick. And full streaks from Puck. Oh my gosh.
Full streaks on a few of them, I think, still as well.
Yeah.
Key had some at some point. Matrix, I think, found some earlier on. Not 100% on that one, but they can absolutely use these streaks to try to find success here. The only issue is you just can't solo hit this hill. They do push a few players to the back, a few players from the front, and they find nothing on that first attempt. Really, really struggling to break into this beat side. It's exactly what we saw in their first round on offense as well. They just ran out of time. They weren't able to break into B, but it looks like this time through, it's going to be hidden through Church. I would be very surprised if we don't see streaks start to get invested here in this round.
I think right now, as we hit this minute mark, it will definitely start to be a variable, because you do see this is probably going to be the last hit from them. But you do hear Glide Bomb go off. It is unfortunately not going to be able to touch anybody, though, but it does give a good, valuable information. Puck, though, you see right here, right now, with Cryptic, being able to just hold down these sites as best as possible. Puck, though, right. Oh, my goodness. Almost gets the second. Gets taken out, though. You need to use all streaks at this point, because you can't lose the time again.
I mean, I think their big thought process right now is hey, we're guaranteed defense in round number 5, so maybe not throw all the streaks at it right now, especially with time left. They might try to close this one out with kills, but now they're down in lives as well, so 7-5. And I mean, yeah, you only need one tick. It looks like they'll take one more final shot at this and push their last 3 players in towards this hill.
Yeah, but Key being that Slayer, unfortunately, though, gets taken out. And yeah, I do agree. Just wait till the round 5. I don't know why I really said that.
It really
but, hey,
is what it feels like, yeah.
You know, it's a more of a calmer approach, I guess, you know. But that is definitely going to give them that round 5 defense 100%.
Yeah, I don't think there's a question about that. When you got 70 kills between 2 players on your team, you're definitely getting that round 5 defense here for the likes of Wisconsin. So we saw what they were able to do on their last defense. I think the only issue with this is South Dakota had a very close offense in round number 1. They were very close to being able to close that round out. And if South Dakota can find just something a little bit magical here, if they can finally close out one of these close games against Wisconsin, maybe it might set us up for a back half of a very interesting series between these two teams. We'll have to see what they can do. It's all on South Dakota's shoulders. They need to win this round. Otherwise, Wisconsin, once again on match point, they can take the game, close it out here. And it's going to be a hit right towards A off the rip. They're going to 4-stack the hill and just try to finish this hill as quickly as possible.
Yeah, but right before they even get the first tick, it's going to be contested. Sherm immediately opening up with the first kill. Key! Great play right there. That was essential. Now 1 player left on the hill. Not able to really get any sort of tick. And there you go. That's a 4 down. Now Key. Oh, boy. Cruz, this is a familiar scenario. He's in position to just put them in the blender.
He really is, and he gets him from behind. He gets one again. He has been absolutely the player on Wisconsin to just hurt these South Dakota Coyotes over and over again. Shut them down. He did it in the Search and Destroy. He did it in round 11. He's doing it again here in this game. And speaking of shut them down, Matrix pops for 3 on the command center side of the map. And I mean, if you're South Dakota here, you're already down 10 lives. You need to find some way to get out of this spawn trap that you're in right now, or you're going to lose this game very quickly. Only 37 seconds left in the round.
This is why they are 4-0 in control. They are so disciplined in their crap. Look at this trigger control. Not only did we see that from Matrix, but Key too. Now Drewski being the last man able to hold this hill. He's going to have to go up against 2 Slayers that are known to put his team down, and he's not really looking pretty hot on it.
feel bad for Drewski. Man is 36 and 25 right now. He found streaks early on in this game for South Dakota, but ever since that round number 1 offense, it just feels like they have not been in control. But the A zone, it should be theirs at this point. They do get 2 ticks. They can start to stack in once again, but the streaks get invested. He's gonna drop streaks. Will he find 1? He does get 1, but the A zone, it does get completed. So an extra minute on the clock now. You're only down 11 lives if you're South Dakota. It's definitely still doable, but with all the streaks and all the life count differential and needing to break into this B site, which we've seen nobody do so far in this game, they are in the hardest spot that they've been in all season long right now.
Yeah, 10 and 21 in terms of life count. A minute left. You hear another streak come in. It's going to be from Puck this time. Does find the player rotating outside of the church. So now Puck immediately comes back in and goes big for the kill. And now it's really just been, I look at it like a butcher and a slab of meat. They've been cutting the fat, being disciplined in their strategy of just putting these guys in the blender. And there's been no sort of overextensions from the side of Wisconsin. It feels like even when they lost, they were playing methodically.
Can we talk about how he has 47 kills right now inside of a control map? Absolutely tearing it up. I mean, you got 40 on Drewski and what is looking like could very well be a loss here in terms of having 1 hit left and only having 5 lives remaining. It is just not looking like a great situation. They get another 3-man wipe, only 1 person left, and that's going to be Rem falling. So 2 lives left, 7 seconds to hit the hill, and you are just in a bad spot here for South Dakota. And this is looking like another Wisconsin map win, 5-0 in control, and just a beautiful game here for Wisconsin to close it out. I mean, wow. You really can't ask for much more from the boys.
You really can't. And being 5-0, that number just feels just ever so emanating of dominance. And clearly we saw that. Even though it was 3-2 in terms of round count, it really did not feel like it was a dominance from the side of South Dakota at all. It felt like we were playing chess, and Wisconsin were just methodically sacrificing pawns, aka rounds, to the greater good, which was round 5. And that round 5 just felt just beautiful, like a creme brulee, just baked to perfection.
Yeah, kind of crazy when you look at that overall, because I really feel like round number 1, South Dakota really could have won that round out, but everything besides that, I felt like that was Wisconsin's games, and they threw a couple of those rounds away, but at the end of the day, they do get the job done, and we can see why when you look at the scoreboard right now. Key 49 and 26 in that game, 37 non-traded kills, and then Puck 38 and 19, and 34 of his 38 kills non-traded. Absolutely ridiculous stuff. Both players finding 4 streaks throughout that map. And, I mean, we can't talk about players popping off on that map without talking about Drewski as well. 40 and 27, 31 non-traded. Get this brother some help, please.
Get him some help, man.
In South Dakota, because he is absolutely tearing it up here for this team. And just unfortunately, the rest of the roster just not playing up to snuff here. And that will very likely end up determining whether or not South Dakota end up making their way now into this top 3. In such a tight battle that they're in, really, they're going to need to hope that a couple of teams lose now, and that they're able to pick up a couple of wins here, because this loss to Wisconsin is really going to hurt their shot.
It really did. And, let's look at the overall summary of our maps for today. The roadmap that we had, because it was quite literally a stunning one. I think it was very close at the first 2 maps. It was great to see just the plays coming in from the Tuscan HP, and then immediately into the Bocage S&D, where I felt like that was the momentum precedent setter. Like the overall vibe of this game was in that map. And the fact that it came down to a heartbreaking loss, it definitely showed in that 3rd map.
Yeah, it really did, and I'm right there with you. If they win that S&D,
oh, yeah,
it's a completely different series. I mean, they even had the opportunity to take that Tuscan hardpoint and just weren't able to get the job done. It was a 180 to 180 game heading into P4 of the second set of rotations, but that was when you really saw Wisconsin start to turn it up. That was when they finally got that hold. We were talking about it and waiting for it, because Wisconsin, they set up early hill after hill after hill, and we were just waiting, looking at our lips for them to hold on to one of these rotations, and they finally did. And they did it when it mattered most. They were able to close out that map 1. And then, like you said, you had a 3-round lead for South Dakota inside of that search and destroy. They really had a good opportunity to close it out, and just unfortunately just were not able to do so. The glide bomb was utilized early on. When it worked, you won a round with it, but then Wisconsin, they just answered back with gun skill on gun skill, and once it came down to that. It just felt like Wisconsin was just without one step ahead. And that 4-piece and that ace from Key in round 11 can't go unrecognized, just to how big that was to helping this team win the series.
Yeah, just such an opportunity slayer, that man. Key, he went absolutely insane. And so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be Wisconsin COD with a 3-0 victory over South Dakota Coyotes. I'm going to be heading out for the night, but we've got Cruising here coming back with our second matchup for tonight. So you, ladies and gentlemen, stay here to hear this beautiful man's voice. We'll see you guys in a bit, just a bit of an intermission break for now.